Right. Yes, it's me again. Hello everybody. So, um, following like the things that have happened over the last couple of days, it would be easy to for me to say, you know what, to just sort of knuckle down and get on with it and all the rest of it. Um, but even just over the last 2 days, I get two responses back from employers saying I've been unsuccessful. Getting Listen, I think getting one anyway is a tremendous blow because quite frankly I'm not really that good with rejection. I've honestly I never have. I'm gonna put the light on over here. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. I've never really been good with it because, well, they always say, you know what, unfortunately the role has been filled, or unfortunately you don't meet the necessary requirements. This is like the one when I was applying for Costa didn't really seem to make sense because I've had experience in food and handling and stuff like that. In fact, I'm still doing it as we speak. And the one I had yesterday, which was for delivery driving and stuff like that, I've had courier experience before. So I'm not entirely sure so which is why earlier today I actually did something I'm going to admit right now was probably not the smartest thing I could have done. I actually wrote back to Angod staffing asking them what exactly do I not meet when they say the necessary requirements. I want to know from them exactly what I don't have because quite frankly I don't really know what they're talking about. Some people say it's a really stupid thing to do. I argue, on the other hand, well, you know what? How about you actually tell me? How about you don't keep people in the dark about this? Because I've had several issues with Vanguard over the last couple of weeks, and I have found their attitude in terms of answering inquiries to be completely alienating. So I'm gonna wait and see exactly what's gonna be done about it. And you know what this is. This is really starting to feel like. Tell me if you guys have heard about that story about that autistic kid who did volunteer work for Waitrose for 4 years and they refused to give him a job because they didn't feel comfortable in the fact that he was more than capable of doing his own work. And you know what happened and all that. Asda immediately gave him a job, and I don't know if he took the job or not, but you know what? I think he absolutely would. Though if I was that poor kid in his shoes, the first thing that'd be going through my mind is that are Asda only doing this as like just a means to get one up on Waitrose, or are they actually doing it with the generosity of giving this young lad some work? I'm sure I'm sure Asda did it out of the goodness of their hearts. I'm sure Tesco's or Lidl or Netto they would have done the same thing because he proved for 4 years unpaid he was more than capable of doing the work. So why shouldn't he be allowed to work? And you know what? I don't really see myself too much unlike in his position because guess what? I know I'm more than capable of work. I know I can do the work. So why am I not given a job? I know that's some people had the gall to call me entitled or anything like that from a few days ago. But you know what? I'll tell you why I had that response. Is because quite frankly, I'm actually because I was in a position of actually trying to stand up for myself, to actually stand my own ground. Something that, to be honest, I have very little experience in doing. But you know what? It actually felt very, very refreshing, and quite frankly, I did myself a service for actually standing up for myself because you know what? It isn't going to affect anybody else, but right now this is currently affecting me. So I've actually got to stand my ground in that sense. That's it's nothing to do with entitlement. It's about actually, you know what? I've got to do this for me, and you know what? My situation isn't going to get better if things are going to get worse and worse. That's not how this works. Lo and behold, right now, like all I want is just to be a working man again. I want to come home at night at 6 o'clock in the evening with tales about everything I've been up to and slightly out of breath because I've been on the grind all day. And I don't feel like I should feel ashamed to hide this from anybody. I just want to do the work. I want to work. I want to do the things I'm actually good at doing, the things I've learned how to do, the things I've been trained to do, the things that, again, I will sit. I wasted so much time in working and stuff like that and learning how to do certain things they want to put me on, and they never give me the opportunity. That's why, you know what I mean? That I don't get it. I don't understand why. And guess what? Sitting here just pretending that, this is just how it is, whilst they just continue to make whatever excuse they want. I was one of two people who turned up, by the way, at this open event yesterday for the Royal Mail down in Morpeth. One of two people, and they were saying they were looking to take on as many people as they want. And again, I can drive, I have my own vehicle, I've never had any points on my license, never had any criminal convictions pending or served. So what more do they want from me? Honestly, what do they actually want from me? I don't. The only thing I said this a few days ago. They wouldn't even. I don't think they would even feel satisfied if I started paying them to work. You know what I mean? Because quite frankly, I am, because I'm not prepared to bend over backwards and do things completely that make absolutely no sense. Because quite frankly, that's the only way it's gonna satisfy them. You know what? I'll just say this before. Treating people how you want them, and just as though there is no aspect of consequences for your actions. Guess what? I've seen that sort of thing happen way too often, and how honest, good working people get screwed over by multi-billionaires, and they literally have not even the slightest care in the world. And you know what? I see this every single day. But you know what that does do to someone like me? I'll tell you exactly what it does. Well, actually, no, it's not what it does, but I'll tell you what it doesn't do. It doesn't make me walk around with my head up in the air thinking that's what life is all about. You can get away with anything you want as long as you have money. Trust me, I don't believe in that philosophy whatsoever, because nobody is above the law. And that's something I feel like, honestly, we need to take these on board. Because right now, I feel like there's just people who will literally find any excuse whatsoever. If they don't like the way I'm dressed, they don't like my haircuts, they don't like the way I speak, if I look too fat, I reckon these people will find any excuse. And for once, I genuinely would like to hear it from somebody to tell me I'm wrong, because quite frankly, the longer this goes on, the more I'm going to think in my mind, yeah, I think there is a bit of an insidious reason as to why these things continue. Is it discrimination? Or is it something probably even worse? That they just will say no. No rhyme, no reason, they'll just say no. It's not even really discrimination by that point. By that point, it's just them saying everybody is equally worthless, so therefore we won't take anybody on. It does me some good, when I do have to get this stuff off my chest, because quite frankly, I'm still not entirely unconvinced that this is just the way things are, and how I see myself as being justified for actually feeling quite disgusted about it. But there you go.